You know, when you think about a factory floor, safety is everything. But what if the real key to protecting people wasn't just a new rule book or some better gear, but a totally new kind of worker? Today, we're going to dive into how robots are becoming the new guardians of safety in manufacturing.
So let's just start with this one powerful question. Think about the riskiest, most physically grueling or chemically dangerous job in any factory. Now, what if we could just pull a person out of that danger zone entirely? That's the huge idea we're exploring.
But hey, before we can really appreciate the solution, we've got to understand the problem. The factory floor has always been this amazing place of innovation, but let's be real, it's also always had its risks. So let's take a closer look at the dangers people have been dealing with for years. Yeah, we're talking about the usual suspects here, the dangers that have been around forever. You've got the immediate threat from heavy machinery, right? But then there's the slow burn damage from things like repetitive strain or chemical exposure. The real challenge has always been, how do you keep people safe in an environment that, frankly, wasn't built for the human body?
And that is where our modern solution comes into play. Enter the new guardian on the factory floor, automation. We are seeing this fundamental shift in how safety is handled. We're moving from just managing risk to actually engineering it right out of the system.
Now, when I say robot, you might be picturing these giant arms locked away in cages, right? But that's not really what we're talking about here. The key word you need to know is cobot. It stands for collaborative robot. And these machines, they're designed from the ground up to be partners, to work safely and efficiently right alongside their human coworkers.
And here's the thing that's so incredible. Robots have a level of consistency that's, well, it's just superhuman. They do the task perfectly the 10,000th time, just like they did the first. They don't have a bad day, they don't get distracted, and most importantly, they can be the ones to handle the jobs that are just too risky for a person.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like on the job? How are these cobots really stepping up to protect their human teammates every single day? Let's get into some real-world examples.
Just look at this comparison for handling hazardous materials. I mean, it says it all, right? For a person, this job means risking burns, inhaling toxic fumes, and always worrying about a spill. For the robot, it's just another day at the office. It doesn't have lungs to damage or skin to burn, and its incredible precision means the chance of a mistake drops to almost zero. It's a complete game changer.
Okay, now check this out, because this is where it gets really brilliant. Picture this, a chemical spill. Before a human supervisor even has a clue something's wrong, a robot's sensors can pick up the leak. Instantly, it can start putting up a barrier to contain it. At the exact same time, it's sending an automatic alert with the precise location, and it can even call in another robot to start neutralizing the spill. This response is faster, safer, and way more effective than any human team could hope to be.
And it's not just about chemicals. They're basically the utility players of the factory floor. They can be our eyes and hands, getting into tight, dangerous spaces inside machinery. They're our tireless arms for all that heavy lifting, and they are our ever-watchful sentinels, monitoring the air quality 24/7. They take on all the jobs that are too dull, too dirty, or too dangerous for people.
All right, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But does it actually work? Does it make a real, measurable difference in people's lives? Well, the data, it's pretty clear.
45%. Let's just pause on that for a second. In facilities that have brought these systems on board, they've seen workplace injuries drop by as much as 45%. That is nearly half. Half the accidents, half the injuries, just gone.
And this chart right here, wow, it just paints the clearest before and after picture you can imagine. On the left, you see the number of accidents you might expect in a year. And on the right, after these robotic safety systems are in place, the drop is just massive. We're not talking about a small tweak. This is a total transformation of the work environment.
And you know, this quote from a factory manager, it just hits the nail on the head. This has never been about replacing people. It's about protecting them. It frees up skilled workers to focus on the complicated, creative parts of their jobs, their craft, while knowing that the most dangerous parts are being taken care of.
So, what we've seen is already a massive leap forward. But believe it or not, we're really just scratching the surface. So, let's look ahead a bit and see what the future of this automated safety net is going to look like. This timeline really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? We went from manual checklists to some basic electronic sensors, and now we're here, with collaborative robots working side by side with human teams. But that next big jump is already coming into view. AI-powered systems that don't just react to danger, they actually predict it.
Just try to wrap your head around this for a second. An AI that can analyze a machine and tell you it's going to fail before it actually breaks down and causes an accident. Or picture tiny swarms of robots that can zoom to an emergency in seconds. We're moving toward a future where safety isn't just a set of rules. It's a smart, proactive system that's built into the factory itself.
And that really brings us to a huge, fascinating question for the future. As we use robots to take risk out of the equation, we're not just changing safety rules, we're changing the very definition of work itself. We're creating brand new possibilities for what people can do when they're no longer the ones standing in the line of fire. It's an exciting future to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.